Guys, ammunition for this video has been provided by Browne Works Inc., manufacturer of fine custom handgun grips. If you guys are looking for very unique, very customized handgun grips for your favorite handgun, contact Mark at Browne Works Inc., link in the description below, and create something beautiful for your favorite handgun. And don't forget to tell them Wyoming Gun Project sent you. So today we are going to take a look at another Colt. This is the Colt 1911 Competition Series in 38 Super. Let's just zoom in there and see that. So let's say there, Colt Super 38 Auto National Match. So this one's super cool. There it is right there, Competition Series. It's a full-size stainless 5-inch government model in their Competition Series line. So what is the Competition Series line? Well, it's basically like the Gold Cup trophies, but it has a few differences, a few different roll marks, a few differences in the triggers and stuff like that. And I'm going to do a separate video comparing the 3 different ones that I have. But for this video, we're just going to take a look at this one. So this one says government model, Colt Automatic Series 70 with the horsey on the back. I think this is one of the coolest roll marks that they do. This one has a fiber optic front sight, as you see, red fiber optic front sight, adjustable Novak rear sight. See that? So the windage adjustment would be release this and knock it over like a standard sight, but then it also has the screw for the elevation adjustment, as you can see there. Now, I don't think it has as much elevation adjustment as like a Bomar style sight, but you get enough. So that's pretty cool. And let's see what here's what your sight picture would look like. Extended thumb safety, beaver tail grip safety, Delta style hammer, standard barrel bushing, no guide rod on this one. So it's the standard recoil spring plug and guide rod inside. It only comes with 1 magazine, which I have hit Colt on before, but I have found out recently purchasing guns from other brands like Springfield Armory and Kimber that a lot of companies are doing that now. They only come with 1 magazine, and now I think this is the 4th 1911 and 38 Super I have purchased. So I got a few magazines, but that's not the point. I think every gun should come with 2 magazines minimum. That's just me. Standard, a bunch of standard slide stop, slide release. The thumb safety is not ambi, as you can see. It has these very cool blue and black Colt branded G10 grips. Plastic mainspring housing. I have hit Colt on that before also. Again, they are not the only ones that do that. I have Kimbers and Springfield Armories that have the same thing. They have these plastic or Delrin or whatever they are. They're a plastic material. Mainspring housings, which only have vertical serrations. And as you can see, look at this one. Let me zoom in. There is a ding right there. Now, guys, this gun has not been fired. I have not fired this gun. You are going to see the first shots out of this gun in this video. We'll see if it works together. I did film an unboxing short, then I took it apart, cleaned it, and now I'm filming the full review, and we will see the first shots together. Hopefully it works. I've had pretty good luck with reliability and accuracy with my Colts. It's just, again, the small things, and this gun suffers from it, unfortunately. I think, guys, listen, I'm not a Colt hater. I would not buy 10 Colt 1911s if I didn't like Colt. But if it is possible, buy one in a local gun store so you could put your hands on it and look at it first, because out here I'm kind of limited to what they have in stock, and not a lot of gun stores out here are Colt stocking dealers, and so I usually end up buying them online, and you're kind of taking a gamble. Right now, out of the 10 that I own, it's running about 80%. So 8 out of 10 have little small issues with the guns. 2 are perfect, and those are great guns. And if Colt can just step up their quality, I think they will be back in the game. Undercut, deeply undercut trigger guard. I dig that. No front strap serrations. Again, just the vertical serrations on the plastic mainspring housing. This has a standard thickness trigger, whereas the Gold Cup trophies have the wide national match triggers, which are also on the national match target guns. This is not a ramped barrel. As you can see, it's 2-piece barrel like a standard 1911. I have a TSOS 38 Super and a Dan Wesson 38 Super that both have ramped barrels. I haven't seen any difference in accuracy, reliability, although I do believe that the ramp barrels support the cartridge further back, which is safer because 38 Super Brass does not have a thick web at the base of the case, and you can blow out cases if you're trying to ramp them up. Rear only cocking serrations in the vertical, in the angle of the grip, sorta. So a lot of them will have just straight up and down vertical serrations. These have wider and more angled, and they're pretty grippy. I dig them. Lowered, flared, and relieved ejection port on this model. Now, why do they do some of that? Well, the flare is to stop from denting the brass. Guys, this is not really a reliability enhancement, because if it was, the military would have done this a long time ago on their GI models. So they obviously didn't have any problems with getting the cases out of the guns. Otherwise, they would have probably updated them in the A1 updates. But this is mostly to stop the brass from getting dented as it comes out. They lowered it for, supposed better ejection to get the brass out. And I will agree, a larger hole is better for getting the brass out. Although, as I stated before, the military models were, 75 years, served for 75 years with the same ejection ports with no issues. And they relieve the front. See how they cut out the front a little bit? That aids in ejecting live cartridges. So if you're finished shooting and you want to unload the pistol before it locks back and it's empty, that will help the projectile clear the ejection port. And that does help, because sometimes there are some issues with that. Other than that, it's pretty much a standard Colt competition model. I think it's a beautiful gun. I think it looks really good. I really dig this style, which is why I think this is the third style of this type of Colt 1911 I have, where they're stainless guns with the blue and black Colt branded grips. I've just always loved the way those look. So let's get into some of the negatives, and then we'll do some of the testing I like to do when I buy a new gun. Now, I recommend that you do some of these testings. If you've seen this before, I'm sorry. This is for the newbies that show up here and don't know this stuff. And I try to do it in every 1911 video, because sometimes this will be the first 1911 video people see and they've never known this stuff. And these are little tests you can do in the store before you buy it. So let's do that, and then we'll go over the negatives. So you push down on the barrel to see if there's movement up and down. That's to tell you if it's a link rider, what they call a link rider, which means the lugs are not engaging the slide stop pin. And then the lugs in the barrel and the top of the slide are not engaged. That helps with accuracy, and hopefully that will translate out on the range. We check the positivity of the thumb safety. This one is really good, although I probably will put a Wilson Combat plunger tube spring in there just because I like them very positive. But as you can hear, very good. No just a tiny bit of downward play in the thumb safety, which I'm totally fine with. That is perfectly acceptable right there. It's the ones that go click, click, click way down that I'm not. So we're going to check this safety, depress the grip safety, have the thumb safety on. Does it work? Yes, it does. With it off, does it fire? Yes, it does. We'll pull it back again. We will check the grip safety. Does it work? Yes, it does. What's the engagement on this one? Probably about 70%. That's not too bad. I would like it a little bit. I'd like it to engage probably right about there. Just a little bit early, but that's perfectly acceptable. Does it work? Yep. Does it stop it from firing? If you push it in, does it fire? Yep. So that works perfect. And then let's push up on the hammer, see if it falls. That tests the sear and hammer hook engagement. It is good on this gun. So everything seems to be fine. The slide's pretty slick. Is there any movement in the up and down movement in the trigger? A little bit up and down. Kind of a lot side to side, if you can see there. So there's a lot, quite a bit side to side and a little bit up and down. Now, that is something that custom gun makers will make sure that there's barely any movement up and down and side to side in the trigger. And that's to help with when you push on the trigger, if it's moving all over like this, it can affect your accuracy. But let's go over some of the issues that I have with this gun straight out of the box. So, as you can see, just like in my Gold Cup trophy, there was nicks in the finish on this gun. So here is one right here. Let me zoom in so we can see this. There's a nick right there. You see it doesn't rub off. There's a nick right there. Okay. There is, where is it at on here? There's a nick right there. See that scratch? Now again, this is new out of the box. I have taken this and right there, I have taken this out of the box. I filmed an unboxing short, cleaned it, put it back together, and now I'm filming the tabletop portion of this review. So these scratches were in the gun when I took it out of the plastic. Okay. Also, as I showed you before, there is a nick right there in the mainspring housing, in the plastic of the mainspring housing. Okay. And look at that. There's a void in that thumb safety. Now, these are cast parts. And this is one of the problems with cast parts, why people don't like cast parts. If it's done correctly, it's perfectly fine. Ruger made pistols back in the 90s that were fully investment cast, and they were reliable. And I have one, and we're going to do a review on it. But this right here, that is a void in the piece from the casting process. That's no bueno right there. That is terrible. I mean, cast thumb safety, grip safety, it's pretty good. A little bit of wiggle, but not bad. Not bad. That's a pass for me. But that right there and all these nicks in the finish and stuff like that, that's just not great. And I want to show you one more thing I noticed. Let me just take it apart. When I took this gun apart to clean it, and it's funny because when I dropped the short, somebody was like, there are a lot of machining marks on the inside of your slide. And as a matter of fact, I want to show you guys this. The bushing, I will say, I will give Colt props on this one. The bushing is very tight on this gun. And if you have a tight bushing, you can do this little trick right here. Just kind of pop it forward because it is tight on this one. There you go. All right, look at that. Look at all those machining marks inside the slide. Look at that. Look how rough that is. I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, it is in the inside of the gun, and I doubt it will affect performance. I really doubt it. But that's no bueno, man. That is, you couldn't clean that up a little bit? I mean, come on. And also, look at this. look at the chatter marks right there on the machining marks on this. I mean, that is your machine jumping and chattering right there. You can see a little bit in there, and I have a T-sauce that has it really bad in there, and it didn't affect performance, and it probably won't affect performance on this. But it just speaks to the quality of, you know, the stuff, again, that Colt is letting leave their factory is ridiculous. Put this sucker back together. So let's get a weight and get a trigger pull. Yeah. Let's get a weight and get a trigger pull. Let me zoom back out. And then we will take this sucker out to the range and see how it shoots. So the gun is 37.72 ounces, and with the factory supplied magazine, 40.08 ounces. That, I can tell you, will be perfect at taming 38 Super recoil, which is not a lot. 38 Super 1911s shoot fantastic. They really do. So let's, oh, it's saying low. There we go. God, I got to change the batteries in this thing, man. Before I do any more reviews, I really need to change the batteries. 326. The trigger is really not bad on this pistol. It's not. 304. 308. So we're hovering a little over 3, and I can attest that it's nice. So here you go. You hit a wall. There's your wall. There is a little bit of movement before it breaks, just a little bit. But I'm telling you, if you shoot this gun enough, it'll break in. But there's just, yep, there's a wall, just a little bit of movement, which is not ideal, but it's not a real custom shop trigger, but it's really good. As you saw, it's just a little bit above 3 pounds. So, you know what? Let's take this sucker out to the range and just see how it shoots. So far, so good. Accuracy portion of the review. We have 3 rounds of 130 grain, 38 Super. We have our Colt Competition Series, 1911 and 38 Super. I'm going to go back 7 yards. I'm going to fire 3 rounds at that 3-inch shoot and see, and we'll just see how it shoots. All right, I got no complaints about that. Man, the little issues we discussed in the tabletop with this gun, and I'll probably repeat myself in the final thoughts in case some folks miss it. And this goes for a lot of my Colts, and this one seems to be the same way. All of them now come with national match barrels. And as you can see, they're accurate. So I'm completely satisfied with that. That's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. And they've all been reliable. For me, it's the small things in Colt, like them leaving the factory with blemishes and nicks and scratches and wonky safeties and some obvious cost-cutting, issues, the cost-cutting measures, okay? But all of them, and this is the 10th Colt 1911 I own, so I own 10 Colt 1911s. They're all pretty reliable. Matter of fact, all of them, I think, except the 10 mil. The 10 mils I've had a couple little bobbles with, but that could kind of be ammo related too, have been really reliable and pretty damn accurate, I gotta say. I got one that's maybe a little bit, but even so, I'm fine with that, man. Let's go back and get the final thoughts. All right, folks, final thoughts on the Colt Competition Series 1911 and 38 Super. I think it's pretty cool. I dig it. Other than the small things that I mentioned, the little nicks and scratches in the finish, the plastic mainspring housing with the nick in it, the really rough machining up under here. But as you saw, accuracy and reliability has been fantastic so far. This one's not as bad as some of my Colts. I dig it. I still love Colt. I do. I have a thing for Colt. But I've always preached they need to step up their QC and stop letting guns leave the factory with little stuff. It's little issues with Colt. They all seem to be pretty darn reliable and pretty accurate with their national match barrels, because they all come with national match barrels now. But other than that, I think it's fantastic. No downward safety play, which I dig. It's one of my pet peeves. Still the cost-cutting plastic mainspring housing, still one magazine, but again, they are not the only company that does that. Kimber and Springfield Armory are doing it now too. And they're obvious cost-cutting measures. But other than that, I think this is a fantastic looking pistol with these blue grips. I think they're gorgeous. And I think overall, it's a good gun. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.